Hey guys, my name is Roxy, and I like getting to know people at a more personal level. So, my next guest is actually someone I've never met. What's interesting is we worked online with a brand to brand collaboration, and from there, I asked him if he wanted to have an interview with me. He is someone that's worked with SM Lifestyle Entertainment, and now he's with PAL. And he's definitely not one to shy away from the camera, and you'll soon know why. So, hey Ben, thank you for coming to see me here.
Hey,
And it's very
Roxy.
nice. It's very nice to meet you for the first time.
Yes, finally happy to meet you.
This is definitely a new norm. We all
Yeah.
have to adapt. Can you tell me what you're currently doing right now with your career? How is that related to, being an online influencer?
All right. Thank you, Roxy. So I think for me to be able to share with you the entire context, maybe I can begin as a child. During the pre-social media ages, I've always been a person who wants to connect with people in different ways. Regardless if I will become close friends with the person, or just become casual colleagues, or just to get to know people. I always saw to it that I connect with people in ways that would uh, positively change them. So I lived that way. I grew up that way. So now I'm also in that career. My career also centers on trying to touch people positively and help them transform and find their growth. So that's why, um, thankfully, I've Philippine Airlines have trusted me, and I've been with the company for 3 years already.
Oh wow.
And I am with the management people development group, and we are in charge actually with the essential skills training. So that includes the leadership, the
Oh.
communication, and professional and personal growth of all employees.
Yeah, do you have a background with psychology, or it's just something, this is just something that you felt like, with you felt strongly about when you were a child, is connecting with people and getting to know them,
Yes, actually,
psychology.
Christine, I finished psychology, from
Okay.
San Beda University. So yeah, I've always had that craving as a child to really connect with people in ways that would help them grow. I don't know why. Maybe it's also
Yeah.
because my mom is a teacher, and
Oh.
I've loved how I see how her students thank her and appreciate her for the things that she teaches them. So that's something that I really admire about
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
Yeah. Where does your mom teach?
My mom taught social responsibility and
Oh.
Christian living. So,
Oh.
and I also graduated from the school where she taught. So that's in San
Ah.
Beda University.
You've had a lot of experience by now with getting to know people, and obviously you're in the leadership management. How was it like working with the SM Lifestyle Entertainment? How long did you stay there, and when did you decide, okay, I'm already okay, I'm done with this career path, and it's time for me to, let's say, transition into Philippine Airlines?
So they actually was my first home after education, after college. SM reached out to me because um, they wanted to start a group that would pioneer the operations training team. Because imagine for an organization such as SM to not have a formal operations training team. So I'm lucky
Mm,
to have been a part of that. So in my career with SM, I can say that it really opened me up to a lot of learning, especially when it comes to how the ordinary people who we often take for granted, really sacrifice and um, put out all their hearts and hard work in what they do. That includes the cashiers and the ushers and the
ah,
porters that we encounter in the cinema. So
mm-mm.
um, I was able to um, talk to them on a daily basis and help them really find meaning in what they do. That it's more
Wow.
than just giving tickets and
Right.
handing popcorn to ticket. Yeah,
Yeah.
sadly, that's one of the hardly hit industries during this pandemic.
No matter what you do, whether if it's, let's say, you're in charge of cleaning the table or you're in charge of making sure the bathrooms are clean, they always add integrity and honor to that. Now, in the Philippines, I don't know if we actually have, yeah, one-on-one talks about, you should have pride and be proud about what you do, because there's always like this, this impression, ano ka lang, or you're, ay, ganun siya, like, oh, big time, but for me, it's like no matter what you do, big or small, you should always put, pride and importance, and, be proud of what you do. Given the stigma nga here na, it's may certain impression na may impression and that's it. Can you give me an example of how you were able to, let's say, convince someone that, be proud about what you do?
You're right, Roxy, and um, I, I've seen that. I've had firsthand statements and sharing of experiences from these people, being insulted, being spat on even, during their work. So it's really hard to lift up their spirits at the onset of what we did, as a training team. But then, thankfully, during my stay with SM, there was a time when we partnered with Disney Institute. So, having the opportunity to partner with Disney, we were able to get the best practices of Disney, especially in their parks, and bring that same spirit of happiness from the inside of the organization, so that people at the outside, the customers to be specific, will be able to feel that people are happy, people are actually proud to be wearing that name tag, to be wearing that uniform that we represent. For example, I can recall a specific conversation I had with a ticket seller, in the
Okay.
cinemas, wherein she's had the worst of the worst experiences. People insulting her, asking her what she finished in education, as telling her that kaya ganyan ka lang or that's why you're just a ticket seller because blah 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 blah. So it's terrible. It's really terrible. So at the end of the day, one thing that would really help frontliners such as our ticket sellers, our ushers, porters, would really making them realize how what they do is impacting the organization as a whole,
Yeah.
and it's actually helping the society, on a larger perspective, so that it will be easier for them to bounce back, or uh, look at things from where they are, and look at it at how they are actually changing the lives and the experiences of people. And that's not only limited to them, no. I think more importantly, Christine, Roxy, those people at the head office, no, the accountants, the IT, imagine they don't experience instant gratification from customers. No thank yous even.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it really has to sink in sa kanila that what they do, whatever they do, it has an impact to the growth of the team,
Yeah.
the society as a whole.
And how do you manage to tell that to them? Because it's easy to say exactly everything you
Uh,
said, but the feeling of waking up every morning and say, "Wow," it has to start ground zero before we can actually build an empire. But
exactly.
and I guess they're in that area where they don't get noticed. People don't know their names. They're not shining,
Mhm.
out there. What's that little process, that magical process that makes them feel
Definitely.
proud?
The thing is, Roxy, with the paradigm shift that has to happen, it doesn't take only one training session and then poof, magic. Because usually after a training session, of course they'll feel better, but that feeling would last a week, 2 weeks, no, a month if you're lucky. But really, the trick is getting into the leadership level, the middle management level. So we have to tap the supervisors, the managers, and actually equip them with these skills of recognition, no, appreciation, gratitude. Because they will be the first ones to really make these people feel that they are important and that they matter, and they don't just clock in and out of work on a daily basis
Yeah.
and then that's it. So yeah, we really have to get in touch with the leaders, and that now that's another thing, that's another long
Yeah.
conversation.
Right. So I think to sum it up, it is essentially acknowledging them, giving them recognition, and I
Exactly.
suppose, yeah, and making sure that even the top management sees their
Yes,
efforts. So it's
definitely.
not just you, but also the CEO and so on and so forth. Really giving them acknowledgement.
Definitely,
Yeah,
Roxy. So
being.
Yeah, so that's why even if I'm interacting not just with my co-employees, with my colleagues, but everywhere I go, gas station, so when you meet someone who's not wearing the same uniform as you or the same ID as you, and you see them, the gasoline boys, I don't refer to them as oi oi, ganyan. I always call them sir, ma'am. Those little and simple deeds would really mean a lot to them.
Yeah, that you forget to notice all these people that actually contribute to giving you convenience in your day-to-day life. And it would be really nice to just acknowledge them, and even if they're wearing a name tag, call them by their name if possible. So that's nice. In relation to Philippine Airlines now, yeah, how did you realize that okay, my job in SM is done. I'm now going to move to Philippine Airlines, and I guess let's talk about yeah, when did you decide it's time to shift careers, and how are you able to contribute the same inspiration in Philippine Airlines? Is it the same? Because I'm not sure if like the level in the environment is the same.
Mhm.
The work environment is the same.
It didn't really take just one moment for me to decide that it's time to move on. So, but you'll feel it. You'll feel it when your mission is over, and sometimes you'll crave for more learnings. I know a lot of millennials who watch your show can really relate na we always try to explore and try to learn things. So that's why the pattern is for many millennials, we jump from one job to another sooner rather than later compared to the earlier generations, right?
I
So
was waiting for you to say that.
and that applies to me as well, because
No.
between SM and Philippine Airlines, I also had a short stint where I had to get out of training and had to experience and learn sales, marketing. But then at the end of the day, my heart really belongs to training. So that when PAL called me up and they said, "Hey, we're looking for a trainer. Maybe you can try applying, for PAL." So I did, and thankfully, I got in. And everyone who is familiar with the recruitment process in PAL know that it's not a joke. Really, they would really look at you comprehensively. I mean, I think it's one of the most challenging recruitment processes that
Wow.
I've. So yeah, Christine, primarily the heart is the same when it comes to training and development, but the differences would be on the functions of people, especially with PAL. I interact with cabin crew, wherein the interaction with passengers are longer compared to someone who's just at the ticket and limited to a minute or so. But with cabin crew, they can interact with passengers for 12 hours, 14 hours or so.
You also get to train people outside, people who are not Filipinos, or is it all just all Filipinos?
So far, all locals, no.
Okay.
Except for during the pandemic, that was the time wherein we also had the opportunity to train those in the outstation, in our foreign outstations.
Ah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's different. You'll notice immediately that the culture of really Filipino corporate world is emotional. It's impossible to really separate the emotions of Filipinos and the relationships that we have with each other with whatever we do at work. So yeah, I think that's something really unique to us Filipinos. Unlike
Yeah.
with the Western, right, Rocky, if it's work, it's just work, right?
Right.
No
Yeah, they're
drama.
able. Yeah, don't take it personal. It's it's work. Would you say that's a pro or a con? Do you think that we should actually learn how to detach our emotions from work? Would
Yeah,
it make your job easier? I mean,
yeah. It's a double-edged sword, really, Roxy. Because there are times wherein you have to be more empathetic, more emotional, especially when it comes to the positive emotions. No, but then um, at the we are now rapidly modernizing, and the globalization is not going to stop anytime soon. I mean, consider even if it's a pandemic, diba, there are still expansions going on here and there, and that means that Filipinos would have to adapt quickly to how foreigners work, no? Especially when it comes to the corporate world. So if we really don't toughen up, sorry for the term, then we're gonna have a difficult time to adjust and for us to be able to work harmoniously with these people. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword because what I noticed naman is foreigners appreciate our fun side, you know.
And our hospitality as
Yes, our
well. And
hospitality, that we lighten up the office, our jokes, for example, our laughter, you know. But yeah, it's a double-edged sword because when you're too emotional and um you're given a criticism, then you might not take it constructively. Eh? Yeah.
yeah. Right, right. Oh my gosh. So yeah, it's nice that we pointed that out because, especially if you're in the leadership management, you need to understand that it's not just about being black and white. We're tapping into their emotions, and we want to be as gentle as possible, but also make them realize that, the world is not gonna stop if you feel bad. Oh my god. I
Exactly.
don't want to seem so. You're actually the first, influencer or blogger that I saw who actually spoke to the camera, promoted the gift certificates, and you were very, very warming. You see Instagram as a powerful tool to influence or change people for the better or for the worse, and do you see it as a potential business tool?
Right. First, I want to thank you, Roxy. I feel so flattered. Thank you so much for the kind words. And yeah, actually, I was surprised when you sent me a message because initially, my objective with Instagram and all my social media platforms is just to really keep on sharing what I know with the world and try to instill positivity, respect, and trust among my followers, if so may say, or friends, even and family. And initially, that's what I had in mind. But then I realized as I continued on posting and creating content online, I realized that it can really go even a long way. I mean, now I can say I haven't even started with the potential and the possibilities of what I can do, what you and I can do on social media. So mm, I think a lot of influencers often forget that how powerful their posts are, even if it's just a story that's up for 24 hours. You would never know um, the effect of that post to a single person reading that. Um, Thankfully, during the pandemic, I've had people message me, "Hey Ben, it's really heartwarming for me to get messages from people telling me, Ben, you don't know how you helped me get out of a dark place because of this post that you shared or this story that you created." And yeah, I think a lot of us aspiring influencers would have to keep that in mind, that even though we have the freedom and the free will and liberty to post whatever we want, I mean, I'm not against that. It goes without saying that we have a responsibility, to the people who follow us, especially those who look up to us. We are free to do whatever we want. We are free to make our own choices, but we are never free from the consequences of these choices. Actually, Christine, the first time it's actually the first time that I was able to say um, that I want to stay with an organization or until my retirement. So that's how I felt with Philippine Airlines because really, well, they take good care of their employees. Considering what happened in the pandemic, how hardly hit the airline industry was and still is. PAL has really saw to it that they will treat each employee with the dignity that they deserve. You know, and so I'm happy with that. But I am open to exploring other paths for me, but without necessarily letting go of what I have in path. Just like right now, I'm slowly realizing and seeing the opportunities on social media. Working with brands such as yours, which I really like, and gives me more opportunities to help not just the followers, but also fellow entrepreneurs. Because having an MBA, that's also one thing that I have now. I want to help micro businesses to grow, to grow. Really, that's it's like the theme of my life to really help people grow and
Yeah.
find their potential and make the most out of it. So yeah, and Roxy, a lot of companies now have realized that they might not even need to rent an office, because a lot of things are being finished with people working from home or working remotely.
We save time and we also have time for our personal lives. So I think that's a win-win situation for both the employer and the employee. I don't know if you want to recommend that to those who are potentially going to see our video. Why do you choose to follow this person, and how does he or she inspire you as well in the social media realm?
Great. So, one thing, Roxy, that I'd like to share with you in terms of growth is in terms of my physical growth and fitness and health. I haven't shared with you this obviously, but I've I've recently achieved a milestone in terms of my health and fitness. Because years ago I was really overweight. I've been living, yeah, with that struggle of feeling great about yourself. But thankfully last year, coincidentally during the quarantine, that's all I had to. I was given more time and focus to really work on my fitness and health. The Lazy Lifter, Cho Lim, on Instagram is actually helping me out continuously with my fitness goals. So I was able to, last year during the pandemic, I was able to lose 18 pounds. And
Wow,
I was
congratulations.
able to get out of the overweight zone. And Roxy, that's one thing that I'm really thankful for right now. Years ago, I wouldn't even imagine myself talking about fitness and health. But now, people are inviting me to, hey, Ben, maybe you can talk to us about the importance of health and fitness. And every time I think of it, I can't believe it. It's surreal. But, again, I go back to the part that you are free to do whatever you want. And if it's a positive consequence that comes after that, then take it as a responsibility, you know. So yeah, and yeah, Colin, the lazy lifter, Jordan Sayat, uh, is also one page. He talks about he's all for the fitness and health and growth, but he's strongly against body shaming, and that's what I like. That's what I see to it. Yeah, let's go for your fitness and health. But there's no need to body shame anyone. Yeah, respect should always be the key.
Yeah, what was that? Thank you for sharing that. So I'll probably check out their pages, screenshot it, and I'll flash it out. What was that? Why could you sense that your health was declining? How come you decided to, yeah, let's, because I understand that if you're focused on taking care of other people, like, or for myself with gowns, I want to make sure everyone looks good. At the end of the day, I forget about myself. And on your end, I feel like you're always making sure everyone feels good about what they do, but you tend to neglect about, your wellness as well, mentally, spiritually, physically. So when did you decide, okay, it's time for me to get fit? Did you couldn't breathe na ba? Or, pawis ka na? Like, when did you, yeah.
Yeah,
When
there
did
were
you,
times actually, Roxy. There were a lot of times where aakyat lang ako ng hagdan. I just have to climb one flight of stairs, and then I would really find it really difficult and challenging, and end up complaining. you know, so
nawalang
I
elevator?
I know an elevator, so suddenly it's another person's fault when in fact it's just a normal thing to do. So it just hits you. It just hits you when you look at yourself at the mirror. I mean, man, you can do better than this. And imagine you're telling people to really grow and be happy with what they are, be confident, achieve what they can, maximize their potential. But here you are, you know that you can do it, but you're not doing it. What's the problem with you, Ben? So yeah, that's one thing that I really decided on. Is um, one thing that I found challenging then before Roxy was I wasn't really into getting the six packs. It didn't matter to me how I looked, but it mattered to me how I felt, and it mattered to me how my words would impact other people. So if I want others to believe me, of course, I have to take care of myself and be strong enough to actually say things that are credible enough for them to believe.
Right. So you need to be the role model.
Exactly. Well, I have a mix. I have a good mix of friends. Let's put it that way. Roxy. At one end, I have friends who are really into making millions. All about the bucks. And then at one end, I have friends here who are very calm, chill. I'm here for the day. I'm living one day at a time. And what I see that is really the key to both these ends of the spectrum is really um, the balance. You said it earlier, but people often forget it, especially if one person is into hitting one goal. For example, um, we have multiple goals, but then when we are, for example, so absorbed into hitting one goal only for a certain period of time, then that's the time that we may lose balance. So that's what happened to me before, Roxy. I wanted to progress into my career, my development. So I took up masters. I took up a lot of learning opportunities. That I forgot that life is not just about that. Life is not just about the books and the brains, and you have to keep things in balance. Because what you don't want to happen is at the end of the day, and you look back, you know, there are a lot of blank pages or incomplete paragraphs in your book, and I think we have to remember that success is not universal. I mean, one person may win just second place, but consider that as an astounding success. But one person may get that championship trophy, but then still crave for more. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's balance and your disposition in life. So just keep on. That's why growth is my life's theme. Because when you're always craving for growth, it doesn't matter what place you are now. It doesn't matter how much you are actually making. Although practically it matters, but you know what I mean. But when you're always aiming for growth, then you would be able to check and balance yourself. How am I now? How are my goals? How are my relationships? See things from a holistic perspective, not just from one angle.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you, so
Yay!
much.
Oh my gosh, thank you for making time again. What's
I
the
enjoyed this.